I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please pray with me. Heavenly Father God, we come tonight just thankful for the opportunity to serve our community and our kids. We just ask that you be a blessing over our families tonight. God, as we move into the holiday season, we just ask that we're reminded of the things to be thankful for, God. And we just pray that you bless this board as they make decisions that will impact the students now and into the future. We love you and praise you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right. Welcome to everyone who's here. The first item of business is the approval of the agenda. Do you have anything to add or?
Nothing to add or delete at this time. Nope.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Patron comments. We have any patrons who would like to speak? All right, then moving on to approval of board minutes and the special, can we do both of those together?
Yep.
And the public, special public hearing minutes.
Make a motion to approve. I'll second that.
Has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Special presentations and updates.
All right, we'll invite Mr. Loomis and Ms. Neergarter up to the podium. You have to come to the podium.
I don't know if she's going to come to the podium.
So you can be on the camera. Okay, well, she'll stand in the background. But Mr. Loomis is here to provide an update on Senior Life Week, share some statistics with you guys, with you all on how that went. Obviously, Brandy and Tim really spearheaded to make it happen. So we appreciate them. But Mr. Loomis, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why I brought Brandy along tonight. It took much convincing to get her to come this evening, but I'm glad she's here because I do want to provide an update, and I am proud to tell you that we had 93% of our seniors that are now CPR certified. They called it 4 of them were able to get through, which is much better than last year, and we know with COVID last year and everything else, it was just a mess. But just great percentage there. Almost 80% were first aid trained, and close to 80% also worked with Jeremy Jones and learned how to change the oil in a vehicle and rotate tires and just some of that practical, real life knowledge that I think they need to have when they walk out of here. So I'm extremely pleased with those numbers. Pooch, thank you for your passion for getting our seniors CPR certified. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a necessary thing for them to be able to walk out here and how to do that. And Brandy, just an unbelievable job. I'm going to single her out for a minute. I know she's a behind the scenes person, but I think she deserves a lot of praise. Sorted the seniors into groups, coordinated all the days and times with them, worked with Pooch and Jeremy to set up times to work with the seniors, worked with Napa to get the oil and the oil filters to the school. So just a great, smooth, I don't have to. She's also our senior class sponsor, her and Amy Marker, and I don't have to worry about anything when it comes to, the things that need done with the senior class. They're in great hands. Kind of a side note, this wasn't on the agenda tonight, but I also wanted to just let you all know how wonderful she does with our alternative school too. Her and Jill Adams, Jill's back there with her this year now. They make a great team. 76 credits have been recovered to this point right now with those kids back there. They're just kids that they're not going to make it in the general education setting. They need an alternative arrangement, and they provide them with an avenue toward graduation. It's just an amazing thing. She gives us detailed monthly reports regarding each of her individual students. We get those every month. And to be honest, her room's where I go if I need to brighten my day. If I need a morale boost, I walk down to the alternative school and I pop in there for 5 or 10 minutes, and there's just a lot of good things going on. So I just want to give you credit, because it wouldn't happen without you and Jill, and you guys just do a great job. So,
and I'll add to that list if I can, just to show you Brandy's willingness to be a team player and just jump in and volunteer kids to do things. But Chief Shoemaker reached out to me about needing the flag by the tank mulched and cleaned up prior to community Christmas, those type of things. He said, "Do you have any groups?" And I'm like, "Brandy." And of course she said absolutely, and I'm pretty sure that it's all, but it's just a testament to her, but also to those kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that, but I think they enjoy getting out and working with their hands and doing something that's not your typical school day activities. So I appreciated you taking that on. And I know just anytime we get those opportunities, I know that Brandy and those kids have always been like, yeah, we'll go, we'll do those type of things. So.
Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, and I don't think you can say about every single kid, but those kids come out of that program as different kids. They really do. Like, they enter one way and they leave a much improved way when they're done. So it's that all school is a good thing. It's going well.
Good.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good news.
absolutely.
Any questions or comments for Jason concerning Senior Life Week or alt school? It's kind of snuck in there.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's a good update.
I think it's awesome that they do this in the CPR thing, because not all the schools do that anymore.
Mm.
You know, Greenville used to do the CPR as a requirement, but they kind of quit doing that
Sure.
as a graduation thing.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
know
think it's good.
I will speak
It's
for Tim a
awesome.
little bit. That's one thing he'd like for us to see, work into our local. We're going to have some local requirement discussions in the spring
Yeah.
for graduates, and I think that's something we can
I think
consider.
it should be
Or
necessary.
96%, and those four
Yeah.
that didn't get it done
Did
might
they
be
just
willing to do
couldn't
it.
pass it? They just couldn't do it? Is that what they didn't have the skill, or they just
No,
weren't?
a couple of
They just
us-
weren't there.
Yeah, they just weren't there. They were MACC
Okay.
kids,
Oh, okay.
and we just couldn't coordinate with every
Time-wise,
single
okay, good.
within the school day or whatever
That's
to
good.
get it. Yeah.
But I think that's
But
awesome.
we're gonna pick him up.
Yeah, they make
Oh,
you do it on a
good.
Saturday or
Yeah.
something
Good.
when you do it.
Great.
That's wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Me
That's
too. I think
wonderful.
it's really important.
No, they could save somebody's life
Definitely.
thanks to that.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I don't know with Tim teaching them. I don't know.
I've seen him. He's pretty good.
I'm teasing. He is. He's great.
But Brandy, thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
We don't want to
She's
hold you
hiding-
hostage in here.
She's
but
hiding back there, but we appreciate you.
I'm pretty sure
Yes,
he
thank
made
you.
you come just so you could be showed appreciation. Like
This
you
is behind the
deserve.
scenes as it gets, and she'll probably kill me tomorrow for singling her out, but I think she deserves the praise. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
thank you, Mr. Loomis.
And they get cards too, right?
Yeah,
And all that.
the CPR cards,
Cards
and
and
thanks to
everything.
the Dylan Williams Foundation for.
Yes,
For
that's
that.
what I
Oh my
thought.
gosh,
That
yeah.
we- yeah.
Thank you,
cost
yeah.
for that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have $10 card
Mhm.
approximately times 60 kids. We do the quick math. That's
Right.
$600 that
That's
they've
nice.
committed
Right.
to,
That's
and
Very
I
generous.
don't foresee that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Ties
he's
up hard.
confirmed he's with us throughout.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
That's
Great.
yeah,
wonderful.
it's a good thing.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Brady, you're welcome to stay. It's really exciting. We're going to talk data if you'd like to stay, but if you go, we understand. We don't like to hold people hostage, so thank you for coming.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. There we go.
I'm out of here.
All right, Mr. Lewis, so you're at the podium.
Okay.
So we're going to stay with you. Just give the board a first quarter update on what we learned from Star Data.
Sure. Yep.
What we feel like we learned and where we're headed. So-
Sure, yeah, met with both committees, math, ELA committees, start with math, I guess. Seeing some good growth across the board over quarter number one. They took the STAR test back the first week or so of October. They're due for another one in the first week or so of December. And specifically our EL and Hispanic numbers, we all know those are on the rise. They're gonna continue to be on the rise. Our demographics are telling us that. Very encouraged by our EL Hispanic numbers, especially in grade 8. For whatever reason, Mr. Ray's Hispanic numbers jumped nearly 2 grade levels during quarter one. So it's really good to see that.
Yeah.
Our junior high special ed numbers were a little lower than I'd anticipated, I will say that. Trying to dig into maybe some reasons behind that. They weren't terrible. I mean, they didn't drop off from where they're targeted. They just were kind of plateaued, a slight drop. Part of it could be, I think Mr. Malloy stepping into a complicated special ed world, and trying to get his feet under him. He's doing a great job. It's just the special ed world is a complicated beast. We were down an aide for a while. We've since filled that position. So I'm anxious to see what December's numbers will show us in the world of special ed. That's a couple weeks out. I think we'll see some growth there too. English language arts, didn't see quite the across the board growth that I'd hoped for. They were kind of plateaued. They didn't drop really either. They just kind of stayed where they were for the most part. But special ed numbers were actually up in the English department across the board. So that was nice to see. They were up. I think it's more difficult to show growth in reading, especially when you start at higher levels to begin with, at higher reading levels to begin with. Learning loss, we all know, was tough, especially on English language arts. You don't have as many kids reading at home during the pandemic as you'd like, things like that. But again, I'm anxious to see what December numbers look like in a couple weeks. I'm hoping for some good growth there. We've been in contact, with iLearn and things coming up this spring. Resources that become available to me, I'm passing along to them. We're meeting, like I said, regularly with departments and just going over, courses of action and things like that. So I think, knock on wood, I anticipate a pretty big jump in our iLearn scores this spring. If for no other reason that we're off the crazy hybrid schedule, we're back in person, we're doing everyday learning again. So I think that's really gonna factor in quite a bit too. So questions?
And just kind of share with the board, I know we shared that data with you probably 3 weeks ago after when we updated the scoreboard. And so if you look at a grade level and it says 3.2 for third grade, that means they're at third grade, second month.
Whatever month.
Yeah, so to speak. So if the data is accurate and that we lost anywhere between 8 months to 12 months of student growth during the pandemic, which is data nationally that they're saying, anytime you see a grade level that's at grade level now, that's good news, right? So everything at that midterm should have been around 0.2, or at the first term should have been around 0.2, and as we round the corner of Christmas should be about 0.5. Anything above that's great, but if we're hitting that mark, that means we're making up for learning loss quickly. And really it's the subcategories, again, at the junior senior high that we're watching closely. And our EL students had a good start to the school year, and our SPED numbers we're going to watch closely, but we've still got to make up ground, and in particular the math scores pretty quickly. So.
Yeah. But if you read, like from the ISBA or the National School Board, I mean, it's not just us.
No, it's nationwide.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah. But I was encouraged, especially with math with our EL kids. That jumped out at me, popped off the page right away. So
Great.
There's some good things going on there with that. So
That's great.
All right.
that's all I got.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Winkle, Mr. K.I.S., you're up.
Just some takeaway notes while he's talking. He's gonna basically just go through this, but sometimes it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
visualize. So I think we could.
They have handouts.
We like handouts. Oh, Jason, look, we got handouts.
You want my notes?
Well, don't get overly excited. The handouts they're
Bullet
excellent.
points.
They're excellent bullet points, but they're just bullet points. So,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, we just want to give Jason a hard time.
We're going to talk about math first, and I will tell you that in the learning loss last year, math took lesser of a hit than language arts, so we were ahead of ourselves, ahead of pace, and really in front of the state numbers as well with our math, so pretty pleased with that. And I will tell you the first quarter came back, 4, 5, and 6 are well ahead of what we would predict them to be. So like Aaron said, let's take third grade, for example. We expect them to be a 3.25, somewhere in there. We're well above that. And all the grade levels, 4, 5, and 6, were well ahead of where they were supposed to be or predicted to be. 2 and 3 were below target state numbers starting out of the year, but they've made gains. In October, they surpassed targeted. And seconds advancing in a way that would say that they're going to be at grade level by the end of the year. So, we really feel good about math. Language arts.
Mr. Winkle, if I can jump in there.
Yes.
One thing I would challenge the board, if you're not on Twitter, so we use Vimy Math as our math program, and week in, week out, we have teachers that are on or top that leaderboard.
Top 4
with their
state.
performance. fifth grade. I mean, there's just some folks that are doing some really, really good work in math. And that's a good way, in my opinion, because, you know, your Trinity Lutherans, your Monroe Centrals, your Driver, your Winchester schools are all a part of that group. And when you see our names consistently at the top, I know there was one week in particular that our fourth grade had, I think, 4 of the top 5 spots for the week. So that's encouraging. I know
That's not just county, that's large,
That's
across
state,
Indiana and
right.
even some other states have picked
That's
up.
awesome.
That's on Twitter?
Yep.
I don't tweet.
I don't have.
I know.
It's like, do you want to add one more thing to, but that would be interesting to see. I would enjoy
Anyway, we
that.
can keep that on the website
Yeah.
somewhere.
It is on
Sure.
our, usually.
Or at least brag
on the
about ourselves.
announcements, the Monday or Tuesday, the results come out over the weekend
Mm-hmm.
typically. And so it's on the north side announcements, Monday or Tuesday.
I know that your Twitter story comes up, and I know you guys share those on your own Twitter page, so it shows up on the feed that way.
I don't know if it
Yeah.
comes automatically
Through the
to
district.
Right.
Facebook
Yeah.
would probably reach
More
more of
people.
us old farts that don't have that.
So
We
we've
could
been,
probably-
Sorry.
even last year, and as disjointed as things were with COVID, we've always been pleased with the direction of our math instruction, and I will tell you that our teachers are fantastic in using Vimy, and, you know, the credit goes to the work that they're doing instructionally, and then also the hard work that the kids are doing as well. Okay, so now, last year, before we even took iLearn, we knew, because of scores, that we may fall below the state average, okay? It's how the state would test. That held true, and so there weren't any surprises. So before we even started that, I don't, Nate, when did we start talking about a new reading curriculum? We started at the beginning of the year,
Very
didn't we?
beginning of the year. It was a long process.
So we came up and decided on a new reading curriculum, and we've got that implemented this year. So I just want to say up front how proud I am of our staff for taking that initiative, and that's a lot of hard work. When you make that reading curriculum change, it takes anywhere between 2 to 3 years to really hit your stride. But our staff has really taken to that, and with a lot of hard work and a lot of team time together, they're closing the gaps instructionally already with the new reading series. The other piece that I want to mention is our reading recovery program, and then this on our response to intervention, our Title I team. There's 6 ladies that are working hard every day to do small group instruction and one-on-one instruction in some cases, and those gals are phenomenal, and they're working hard as well. And I will tell you that this first quarter data shows that. So I will say that 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all came below, but after the first quarter of assessing, they've made 30 to 40% gains. We thought we wanted 25% gains,
Yeah.
but they've made 30 to 40% gains. So at that level, by the end of the year, those kids are going to be back to grade level as well. So just really good news. And some of those, a couple of the grade levels could make that by spring break. So we'll see. But I would say definitely by the end of the year, we'll have those gaps, we'll have them closed. So.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And the important thing for us, so as we go into this next testing window here before Christmas break, it'll give us a better snapshot of, so we've got a full half year of
Yeah.
normal
Yeah.
instruction, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm excited about to see, because I think we're going to make collectively huge gains just because things are quote unquote normal.
Right.
Um,
And I would
They're in
agree,
class.
I'll feel
Yeah.
better about what I just said tonight. You know, you give, we'll give that test again in about a month just before Christmas. And I'll be able to come back after the first year and say, yeah, we were right about that. But
Yeah.
based upon the first round of assessment, you know, in October, we're pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
So, but I will tell you, it's a lot of hard work. And it's a lot of hard work, our teachers and our kids both.
Yeah.
Sixth grade, excuse me, they're kind of at predicted. And I will tell you this, the kids get older and we see it. And as a teacher that taught high school and middle school, yeah, I used to think, where does this happen? That kids, the love for reading, they're just reading to get the information. It's 5th and 6th grade. It happens right there. So it's tough stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But Reagan, our 6th grade teacher, Miss Bradbury, is doing a unit right now. I was in there the other day for about 40 minutes, and she's doing a unit on Harry Potter with reading, and it's amazing what the kids are doing. They're loving it. So a lot of, for 6th grade, 5th and 6th grade, is finding things that the kids really like to read.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Yeah.
That is the secret to
Yeah.
find.
Now, listen, we
find the
all
books that-
know that you can't read all the time for, just for fun.
If you could just unplug things,
Yeah.
though, they could read.
Yeah.
It is interesting though, because it's going to sound, growth is easier 1st through 4th grade. And I say that because it's not easy because you're working with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
But they still have they're hungry to learn.
Right.
But I mean, by the time Jason gets his hands hold on that 7th, 8th grader, that hunger is not quite as strong as it may have been
Yeah.
when they were younger. So
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's true.
5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, it's just like,
We got a lot going on.
yeah. They got hormones going everywhere, their
Got
brains.
a lot going on.
Yeah.
I really, I appreciate Miss Bradbury, the way she's taken it to task and trying to figure out, and she's had a lot of good help too, mentoring with some of our more veteran teachers, and they're coming up with some good ideas about how to get kids interested in reading again.
She had asked about people to do intros to books for.
Right,
For
and we're starting
students.
that, we are starting that.
Yeah,
So
I saw that, and
It's
that was
really
neat.
neat. The kids are sharing books and interest as far as, what this book series is about and their recommendations, and the kids are doing those,
Yeah.
so. It's
And we're
neat.
getting community
Yeah.
leaders into.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a great
Yeah,
idea. Yeah.
so,
And even if they wanted to do like a donors choose thing, to try to get more books, because I feel bad about not doing the book fair here this fall, but that program is a great way to get
Sure.
books in your classroom.
Yep.
And between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and end of this year for tax breaks, there's a lot of chances there for those wish lists to get filled with matching grants. And sometimes companies will just come in and say, I'm going to pay for all of them.
mhm.
And I mean, this is a prime time for them to launch something like that.
And that's a big part of Keith Malloy's email about.
Yeah.
So Scholastics,
was
that's what
exciting.
they did is they just donated, because year end,
Yeah.
they need to dump some product and the
That's
kids are
awesome.
going to benefit from that. So
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah. And I know it's a lot of work for you to take on the new, English and stuff, but when you started that other math program and you seen it wasn't working, and you guys made that big leap,
Oh, my goodness.
change.
Yeah, and 9
I-
weeks into the school year.
Yeah.
I was like,
That was-
we're flatlined. It's like, we're gonna take a, but, I have to
but it
tell
paid
you-
off.
Yeah, and I go back to the staff again.
Yeah.
When you go back and talk to the staff about something new and something that, to kind of, CPR for math, it's, is this something we want to do? And everybody said, yes, this is what we want to do. So,
Yeah. It was a lot of work for them, but
yeah.
they're always willing to do it.
Yes, they are.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
we do.
staff.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update. We'll see you in January.
All right, that brings us to action items. Claims approval.
Move to approve claims number 916-834 through 916-949, payroll claims 20, 21, and 22.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Everybody gets paid. Field trips.
2 field trips here, one to Trafalgar, 19th through the 21st of this month. And then Shelley Wambo and Amy Marker requesting this is a unique trip to the Modern College of Design in Kettering, Ohio. Ms. Marker's doing some really neat thing with her art students, and this is going to expose them to a different opportunity. So
That
the
sounds
board-
like a fun one.
It does.
Ask that the board approve those 2 field trips.
I make a motion that we approve the field trips.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The field trips are on. Personnel consent agenda, Mr. Black.
Yep, we've had some movement in our staff in the past month. Had a resignation of Mr. Van Pelt, PE teacher, headed to Delta to take on a role there. Filled that role with a long-term sub, and you see the other ones listed there. But just like everywhere else, personnel continues to fluctuate on a daily basis. Our person in charge of personnel pay work's probably already pulling her hair out. Sorry, Melissa. Just ask that you take those employment or personnel consent agenda items together.
I move that we approve the non-certified personnel. And are we doing the coaching recommendations as well?
Oh, yes, sorry. Coaching recommendations are on the back as well.
Okay.
They're attached.
And then take the coaching recommendations and then the resignation of Mr. Van Pelt.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Motion carries. New business.
The first item here is one that we've taken through discussion with the association. This is a stipend for teachers that are teaching AP, ACP, or dual credit courses at the junior, senior high. Very common amongst districts to do this. Teachers got to go through extra schooling in order to be certified to teach for IU or Ivy Tech. So your dual credit classes, just give you an idea, we have 3 dual credit classes taught through Ivy Tech in the Ag department and 3 in the business department. And then we offer 26 credits, IU credits currently, which is incredible for a small school. But so we look at paying those teachers $750 a semester for doing that. That's not per class, it's just $750 for being that dual credit teacher, and we do that each semester.
I think that's worth their extra effort. They earn it. So I make a motion that we approve giving the pay stipends to our teachers.
I'll second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I appreciate them doing it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. They get the stipend.
Next item here, and somehow I missed Catherine's donation, but if you go back to September, she made a $500 donation to the junior, senior high student need a fund. And then a month later, she made the same donation to Northside. So we appreciate Catherine, and any donation over $500 we got to take through the board. So ask the board accept that and thank Catherine for her generous donation.
Absolutely.
I make a motion that we accept the donation from Catherine Schaefer and thank her.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? We do appreciate it very much. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Review of reports.
Shared some reports with the board. As I think it's like a broken record every month. Enrollment is quite the yo-yo. I checked on Monday this week. We were at 851. But we had 2 new students come in. One tried to enroll in central office. So it continues to be a moving target. The barometer is what's it look like preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade.
Yeah.
And if you look at those numbers, they look good. And if people ask enrollment numbers, every Wednesday when we put out the COVID update, the numbers are per per section are on the left side, so that you can always refer people back there. The only small groups we have right now is our senior class and our 6th grade group are really small, but
Yeah.
outside of that, our classes are, I'd say, normal.
Yeah,
So
it looks good.
Yeah.
that's all I have. I will say cafeteria report, just so the board's aware, we are getting our administrative review currently. They haven't been here for 2 years because of COVID, so we don't have any concerns, but she did actually come in person today, so it's kind of nice but not nice to see these people back out and about.
Yeah.
But she is here working with Trella today and tomorrow. So.
Okay.
Good.
Corporation department comments. Corporation staff comments. Okay. No comments. Superintendent comments.
I have a number, but Christina did sneak in here. I wasn't sure if she was going to be here, so I'll give you a chance. Are there any updates from the student side you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of currently.
How'd your play go this weekend? Went well. Yeah, good. So nothing on your end. All's
Very
quiet.
funny.
Yep.
Busy as usual, right?
Yep.
I do have just a number of updates here, and I'll move through them pretty quickly. Just COVID-19 update, numbers can continue to be less than 1% of students that are in quarantine or testing positive, so that trend remains very positive for us. But we continue to update the public every Wednesday with that information. Thanksgiving dinner, just a reminder to the board and the public, is next Tuesday already. Big community event at 6 o'clock in the junior senior high. Excited to host that event. Hoping to feed around 800. Last year we did the drive-through method and ran out of food really quickly. I'm excited to bring it back here on Tuesday, so I invite the board and the public to please attend. There's no requirement other than come and eat some fantastic food. A number of folks coming together to make that happen. Thanksgiving break starts next Wednesday through Sunday. I don't have to tell our students that for parents.
I know it.
For parents, that's when they'll be home. Then a couple updates for the board. At the December meeting, I'm going to bring some information back, and I'll probably have Jason help me update the board on the IDOE dashboard. There's some changes coming to our accountability model. I would say, and Jason, I'm going to look at you because you've studied this as much as I have at this point, but some really good changes. We're going to start measuring kids not only on academic success, but also, the word grit is used, employability skills and those type of things. So it's pretty encouraging to see the state turn towards that and recognizing the efforts of students beyond just math and English, to be honest with you. So we'll bring a more definitive update to the board with some slides so you can refer back to them and know how we're going to be graded and held accountable in the future. I did visit the State House last Tuesday. I took Justin Jones with me, and we took 3 other superintendents and the director from our East Central Education Service Center to talk to the DOE about our teacher share program. Randolph Eastern participated with Justin Jones being a pilot teacher, and Franklin County had a calculus teacher that we have someone in the room that's taking calculus with, right?
Oh.
How's it going, Christina?
Yeah.
Great. That's why I was late. I was in a meeting with my teacher actually. Yeah, class is going good.
Yeah. Christina, just quickly tell them how it works, just from your perspective.
So basically it works just like an online school. She sends me videos every week to watch. And then I do my homework online through a digital math website similar like the Math Excels. That's what I use now. I was in school. I don't know what we're using anymore.
It's still around.
And then we meet once or twice a week via Zoom, just depending on the time and days, depending on our weeks. It's flexible, it's really nice, and I can work at my own time. We schedule tests and quizzes ahead of time so I know when they are, and then I can just do my classes in the library.
Okay. Nice.
Do you appreciate actually knowing your instructor and
Yeah,
having that
it's-
personal?
I actually have 2 online classes this semester, and it's the calculus and the physics class, taking a different physics course through a different school. And it's just not the same as that calculus course because I don't have like that connection with my instructor.
So that, why we took the circus to the State House is what I've been saying is, we're trying to get folks to understand that students need some interaction. So it's nice, like Mr. Jones will tell you, one of the biggest benefits of teaching this class to students in East Central Indiana is he's got kids from Monroe Central in his class. He can talk to them about the cross-country meet that they were in or the football game.
Yeah.
It's a little more real connection, but if you're meeting with someone from South Bend as a teacher, you're just not going to have that connection. Christina, that's probably your experience. You just don't have that back and forth between those two different classes. So
Yeah, it's the calc class is actually pretty good, just because we can't ask like specific sports, but
Sure.
you can still relate. They also made it to sectional finals for the first time in years,
yeah,
so that was something we could connect about. It's homecoming week, so always something we can talk about. It's not that bad,
Yeah.
but it's like that physics class. I don't think I've ever talked to my teacher outside of an email.
yeah.
So you just don't get
Still have
any
the connection.
Yeah.
No, nice.
And does that take up part of your schedule,
Mhm.
2 periods to
Yeah.
the day, and you do it in the library?
Mhm.
So it allows flexibility, and it's just like the government class that Mr. Jones teaches. Gives students the flexibility to take something else during that time slot. And Christina has to work outside of school on those online courses.
Yeah, a little bit.
But she also could have the opportunity if she wanted to take Apache during that time or go down to Apache and
That's my
work,
next
which I
question.
imagine you do sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She could actually take those 2 classes, not during,
Right, yeah. So the classes are
She
offered,
gets them
it's
done,
called a
yeah.
zero period, so that's outside of school hours. But they can work on it at any
Nice.
point. So
And
like,
I'll jump in
Yeah, go ahead.
to where Mr. Jones and me and Mr. Black, we're in the process of expanding a little bit. We've got 4 or 5 teachers in mind that either already have some online content created or are in the process of creating it. And, this doesn't work for everybody. It's not going to
Right.
work for everybody. But our upperclassmen, our kids that we feel can handle it, especially with Vision Corner in the pipeline, if they need to go up there to work for a couple periods, they'll have the freedom to do that while taking like a required class like Econ, for example. That could be something they could do online kind of on their own, and it frees up their daily schedule. Like if they want to go work at Vision Corner or they want to go fit something else in that, that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So, we like the direction it's going. I think it's going to work out.
are we
pretty
going
well.
to, I like that idea, but are we going to have certain standards and guidelines that they have to meet this or have grades at this level to participate into this?
Yes.
That way they don't,
I
Yeah,
think they already
so-
do
Have
right
issue-
to take the classes.
right, so
Yeah, I
Mr.
just-
Jones' government students have, like Braden and Christina, I know, like, they go work in Apache
Yeah.
some during that time when they're caught up, but
Mm-hmm.
if they're not, they're with him. So yeah, and again, it's not for every student.
Right,
And it's
right.
not for every teacher, that we gotta make that very clear,
Yes.
but the objective is, first of all, to give opportunities to our students that they may not get here. Physics, calculus we've offered in the past, but our sections have been so small that there's better use of that teacher's time to, teach something else. So that frees up, gives them the ability to take courses that we just can't offer. But it also takes conflicts away from those ag classes, those business classes and K.I.S.S TVs.
just diversify.
Right.
Nice.
Yep. And,
And that's-
school to work options, ICE options.
Yeah.
Maybe econs can only be offered in the afternoon, but that kid leaves at 12:30 to
Yeah.
go to work. That gives that student some flexibility in their schedule.
And it becomes easier for students to reach their pathways with this emphasis on CTE pathways, which I think again makes sense, especially for us. It frees them up to be able to pursue those pathways much easier while still getting their other classes that they need.
Yeah.
So
Flexibility is what I
how
got
are those
college.
teachers, those online teachers, are they then communicating with the guidance counselor? I mean, so how are we making sure that those, that things are going well and they're participating and everything
Yes,
else? I guess, so
that's-
how's that monitored?
That's a good question. So each school has a contact. So Mr. Jones speaks to the director of something services at Monroe Central, and has a contact at Randolph Central that they speak to keep those. Like most of the students at Monroe Central actually go into the building at 7 o'clock because they got to meet with them 3 times a week, and they go in the building meet with. They have the ability but they actually go and they work through that director of student services. So yeah, each teacher, that's the
Yeah, I just don't want to think they've
interesting
been in it
part,
4
right.
weeks and they haven't been doing anything, and
I think especially
there's a lot of bugs still to work out of it.
It
and
keeps track
everything,
of
so.
when you,
Yeah, so what my teacher does is she just, well, again, we talk via Zoom every week and then we'll email back and forth.
Mhm.
She communicates with Mr. Davison about.
Okay,
like,
so there is
midterms and,
communication
grades.
then to the
Yeah,
school
and then she'll
and
send me a copy of my grades about once a week.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah, so we gotta keep it at scale, right? Because the bigger it gets, the harder it's gonna be to do those things. But
Yeah.
our goal next year is to offer 10 courses in East Central Indiana in this model and have up to
Nice.
150 students in it. The good news from the State House is that they were as energized. They love Justin Jones, by the way. They absolutely adored him. The state superintendent loved the man. It was pretty cool. But I made a pretty strong commitment to finance this for 3 years to help us get it off the ground. So,
Nice.
yeah. So that Katie from the Service Center and Justin will be here in December to give more of the nuts and bolts. Justin's done some surveys with his kids to answer some of those questions. So I'm going to have him come and speak on behalf. And I was going to have Christina speak on it, but she kind of just gave you hers.
that's all right, we'll listen again.
And it's a nice pre-college thing too,
Yeah,
because that's
so-
almost college, I mean,
Yeah.
Pre-college
it's like
and
a college,
workforce,
you know, and, yeah,
right? Because we're
Yes.
seeing a lot of people working
Definitely.
from home.
Yeah.
So that
Definitely.
it gives them some experience
it's
that
nice.
just skills that they'll need moving
Yeah.
forward. So.
Well,
You've
even the kids.
spearheaded this, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've worked pretty hard with it, and honestly, and Jason knows this, it's because I knew I had the teacher and Justin to make it happen, and I was on the board at the service center, so it just kind of working with Katie and Justin, it was the perfect dynamic kind of to go after it, and
Good.
it's grown legs pretty nicely. So
Thank you for doing
we're
that.
excited.
Yeah.
So we hope to have those offerings on the schedule for our students when they start looking at schedules in January and February. So
Are they gonna offer the med classes anymore, or just with COVID that's out?
what classes?
Like the med classes, medical classes,
Like
like with,
CNA courses?
yeah, or like, are working with Reed, like they were going to.
Oh, the internship down there.
Yes.
Yep.
Are they gonna offer that again? I know with COVID it's
They
hard.
won't this year, but they're going to allow us to put it on our schedule to see if they can get back there next fall.
Okay,
Yep. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, she's talking about the internship program. It's basically a school of work program that Reed offered us right in the midst of COVID.
Right.
yeah,
So,
just Hunter was signed
yeah,
up, but then
yeah.
COVID hit, so, yeah. It's pretty neat.
And the last thing I just want to quickly share is today I did Econ Interviews, and they were pretty incredible, and it gives, I'll just quickly say it gives me hope, you know, when you actually sit down with our kids. We've got some pretty intelligent students. But the last young lady I interviewed was an EL student that came to us in 8th grade. Really shy. She's still shy, but I can't emphasize the conversation I had with this young lady in English. I threw some Spanish at her just to make her giggle because it was terrible. But it was encouraging, and
When she came here, she spoke no English at all.
zero English. And it is a testament, honestly, to our staff, but Rosemary Elmore has worked. I mean, the girl's, as shy as she is, she wants to work in customer service. And when I asked her
That's awesome.
why,
I know, but it's a different, especially if you're behind the phone or the computer with
Yeah.
customer service, you're a whole different
Yeah.
person.
she said, well, Mr. Black, I'm bilingual.
Yeah.
And she said, it's going to push me out of my shyness. I was like, wow, way to just kind
Yeah,
of take that
good.
head on. So I don't know, just an encouraging update. If in the future when we open up Econ and have visitors back in, if you ever want to sit in on those interviews, it's fun. I mean, it really is just a good way to see what's happening with our students in the building. So
I think the bilingual thing is something I'd love to see us. I mean, as much as we have,
What I was getting ready to do.
why not, offer, money for our teachers to learn Spanish? I mean, I'm not expecting them to teach,
Right.
we're
but
not worried about,
everyday dialogue
writing,
and,
but
and
yeah.
help and everything else, especially some of those
Start
newer
'em
students
early.
coming in that, you know, they're a little shy, you know, and the families. I know we talked about that for a
Yeah.
while.
Our
So-
schools, it would be great
Yeah.
for our school
Yeah.
to be, say, we're bilingual for our kids
Yeah.
when they graduate.
So the conversation, just going back to the dual credit money that we approved, the conversation came from it was, you know, well, elementary teachers really don't have the ability to do that. What are some things, and we right away went to bilingual, right?
Yeah.
If you Spanish proficiency, I'm positive I would make a recommendation. I'm sure the board will support it. We'll do the same thing. If you can become proficient in a second language to meet the needs of our students,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
so that's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that teachers
Is
brought
that
it up
something we
because,
would look at going and putting in their contract?
well,
Or
it's
you
bargained
can't
outside
force
of contract
it.
as
Yeah.
a stipend, but
Right.
yeah, we just go through discussion just like we did with these stipends.
If they choose to do
The
that.
problem
yeah.
right now is, and working with Rosamond Marie, is trying to identify that assessment that says you're bilingual. We have Rosetta Stone available to our staff, but just because you
Yeah.
complete 5 levels of Rosetta Stone doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're proficient to have a conversation
Yeah.
in Spanish, right?
Exactly.
So Rosemary's really toying with, you know, what are our options as far as how to qualify, what that means to be bilingual. So,
Yeah.
Already set the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Yep. Great ideas.
That'd be great.
Okay, I took up a lot of time.
No, that's,
No. Anything else?
Nope. Just like I said, we'll have an IDOE dashboard accountability update in December, and I'll have those folks here to give you a better idea of the State House. And we'll have more information on the funding at that point as well, so.
The IDOE dashboard is exciting, the changes they're talking about, and the input that they're actually asking
Yeah.
from educators.
yeah.
Which is
Finally.
amazing.
Yeah, when we were in State House, they asked us, they kind of went down the list, what do you think about these? Like they had their little scribe there, I mean, she was just writing down notes as we were talking.
Yeah,
so.
that's encouraging.
Yeah,
It's
that
nice
is.
to feel heard, I guess, as a
Yes.
small school, because all the schools that were there were small schools, and we just don't get
Nice.
invited to the table very often. It was nice to be there.
Right, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
All right, board comments. Anyone?
How are we coming along with the internet and,
Broadband tower,
yeah?
Blake will be here in December.
Okay.
What we're working through right now is we're trying to get access to put towers at the north side and south side apartments. Because we could get to probably 60 to 80 kids right there, right away. And then the other area which we're targeting is the Glenwood Trailer Park, getting an access point there where we can, so we not had a ton of requests for households, and I think we're up to 16 to 18 kids that are using our Wi-Fi every day consistently at home. Haven't had a ton, but we could get to the hundreds if we can get to those 3 spots pretty quickly.
Nice.
That would be great.
Should we put something on the internet that, you know, if you, like on the front page, you know, inquire, you know, just to kind of promote it? And, I mean, I'm not sure how we're at
Yeah.
on like hardware and stuff like that, because I know we were getting some.
Yeah, no,
Got it?
we
I mean,
have it ready to go. So anybody, parent that needs help, what we've tried to do is work through our teachers to identify, but when we followed up and reached out to parents, either we don't get information back and or they say they're fine. The issue that we see oftentimes is people qualify this
Hotspot.
as, well, they think that having a cell phone is quality internet access, and it just doesn't allow our students to get their work done. So
right.
we're working through those barriers, but we kind of regrouped, and I challenged Blake and Rusty with where are our largest pockets that could use the help. Let's go after them, and if
Right.
people trickle in to ask for assistance, we'll do our best to take care of them, because it is working, and we have plenty of bandwidth to get it out there. It's just we got to find the right place to do it. So
But getting the apartments and the
That's
trailer park
covering
online, that
some
would
good
be,
ground.
Yeah.
that would be huge.
it's going to require some MOUs between us and those entities, but I don't think it's anything we can't work through. We think if we can put 2 of our transmitters at 2 angles, like towards the apartments, that we could cover about every student that's in those apartments. They may have to work by the window, but they could still have good high-speed internet. So
Nice.
they're working it. It's a topic of discussion often, trust me.
That's great.
Good question.
Any other board comments?
No.
In that case, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for
Thank
coming,
you.
Christina.